Hi, Bubba Van Allen here at Hopkins. You guys won the national championship last year for cross country. 7th time in 9 years, which is a rather pretty impressive feat. But this race was pretty close. You guys only won by 2 points. So how did it play out for you guys? Did you guys know how close that race was going to be as you got to 4K, 5K?
Yeah, I mean, going into it, we knew it was going to be really close. We knew there were probably like 4 or 5 teams that were pretty even with us as far as how we've been racing all year. It ended up being Claremont, and I think what they did at their conference meet, at their regional meet, we knew that they were going to be up there. We got also a chance to see them at the pre-night invitational and just how well they ran going to the front. So it didn't really change our game plan. We still kind of wanted to just get out in good position and pack up, but probably for the first national championship we've run in a long time, we weren't leading and found ourselves, I think, in 3rd or 4th place at the first live split result that came through. So we knew at that point we had work to do. We were over 100 points back, but started seeing that point gap get a little smaller, and finally to be able to at least start taking a lead. But it was still tight the whole way. So I mean, we knew it was close. All of our girls were really moving up well over that last 2K, and that's what our game plan was. So it was really nice to see them execute it. It became a little closer just from a couple people even just tightening up in the last like 400 meters, even though they ran that last 2K real well. So didn't know it was going to be 2 points until we got those final results, but certainly knew it was a tight battle from start to finish.
Yeah, and you guys came in ranked number 1. Does that make a difference for you guys? Do you feel too much pressure with that?
No, I don't think so. The expectations aren't going to change here. We want to contend to win a national championship in each and every year. Whether we come in and we're ranked 8th or we come in and ranked 1st, it's not going to change what the goals are. I think that it's become just the culture of this program that we have the ability. It's not necessarily the pressure or expectations that has to be done or it's expected to be done, but we know we have just as much of a chance as any other team. So I don't think it adds any more pressure. I think especially just the success we've been able to have over the last decade gives a lot more confidence going into those NCAA championships.
So you guys were still pretty young though at the same time, but you guys do have some experience. How do you prep the team for a national championship race, especially when you didn't have one for cross country at least for a couple years? And then how do you get the young kids, well, not kids anymore, but young adults prepared for a national championship meet?
Yeah, I rely a lot on the leadership of our upperclassmen. It was not necessarily a very young team, but an inexperienced NCAA championship team. We didn't have a single girl in our top 7 that had run at NCAA cross-country championships for Hopkins, at least. Sarah Stevenson was the only one that had run there for Washington and Lee before she transferred here. So, it was a very inexperienced team at NCAAs, but I don't think the fact that they hadn't been there changed so much. Ella and Alex, I think just their calm demeanor and confident levels, really rubbed everybody else the right way, and getting a chance of what we do, every single year, but the level of competition, the big meets we get to go to, from your Paul Short Invitationals. We were out at Louisville and ran in the D1 Gold Race earlier in the year. Being able to be in those big type of meets, I think really prepares us for the level of competition we'll see at any NCAA cross country championship.
Yeah, so like we said, there was no cross country last year, but you guys didn't have outdoor championships, and you guys seemed to run pretty well with that. You guys had a couple women break out with that race. So who were some of those individuals? What were some of the races they ran, and how do you think that prepared them for this past season?
Yeah, really thankful that we were able to at least salvage one of our NCAA championships last year, of having that outdoor NCAA championships. And I think because of that really helped prepare us this fall. That was Ella Barron's first time qualifying for an NCAA championships, aside from that shutdown indoor pandemic year. And then Alex Ross also qualified for NCAA outdoor championships in the 10K. So having the two of them to get that NCAA championship experience and success, both placed up in the top 10, and Ella really was some breakthrough races. She doubled, she did the 1500 and 5K, especially coming back in that 5K off such short rest. But she finished second in both, running huge PRs of a 423, 1500, and down sub 16:30 in that 5K. So, really nice to see her run so well and gain that confidence leading into NCAAs.
So what do you guys do for a typical week of training for cross country? Are you guys focused on mileage? Are there any specific workouts or like a staple workout you guys are focused on?
Yeah, it's a lot of combination of everything. We got to stay healthy and we got to get the miles in. So that really starts back in June with a pretty slow progression of our mileage. We want to keep everybody as healthy as possible. This was probably a more, banged up, demanding year on us because we had a year off, and I think trying to get back in a full race mode was a little difficult for some of the women. But we're never going to increase our mileage by more than 3 miles in a week. So we started that back early June to be able to build that mileage up. But we're doing a lot of supplemental training. We were still be able to get in the pool and do our aqua jogging runs, 2-3 times a week. We still had core yoga built in. Our strength and conditioning coach, Amari Thompson, was a big part of that success, and that was a new hire that we were able to add into our staff. Whether we're doing like long thresholds or doing like mile reps, we always do like a big mile cut down workout. Was the only time we touch a track. That's a big one, and a lot of them come close to hitting their mile PRs in that workout. But it's just a combination of everything, and that's kind of the approach we always take, no matter what season we're in, is trying to still target every energy system and just put them together in the right pieces and individualize it for each person on the team.
Yeah, so for someone who wants to run at Hopkins, so academics is certainly important here. But what do you look for in a recruit? Are you looking for them to contact you first? Do you have a certain time standard that you're looking for? How does that process all work?
Yeah, Lewis, you hit it. The academics is going to be what we look for first. That is our biggest restriction because of just the high demands of this university. And it's what you get of having a school that's going to consistently be ranked in the top 10 in the country. So we have to make sure that academics are there. So, we're starting to be in touch with, high school recruits as early as their freshman year. The advice I would give is fill out our recruit form online. We're going to get about, 1,000 people that have filled out that recruit form by the end of a recruiting class. But some of those have started filling them out, early their freshman year and just updated along the way. There's a lot of people that I'm hearing from that are seniors right now, trying to look for colleges, and we're beyond that. We're done our recruiting class, so it's always a shame when people just waited too long and they didn't know any better. So my advice is start the process. It's better to be too early, and then you'll have to reach back out to a coach a year later if they tell you so, than too late. Fill out those recruit forms on our website or anybody else's, and then we'll be sending a lot of stuff out. We do a lot of online Zoom sessions for our recruits before they hit their senior year, and then just build through that recruiting process. So that's one way. We're sending stuff out. We're trying to find results, but the best way is to just fill out those recruiting forms at any school you're interested in, and then follow up and contact the coach.
And finally, so obviously you guys had it's been a great run. 7 out of 9 years. A lot of girls coming back next year. What are you looking for the women's side? But the men too, they're pretty good too. They ran at nationals this past year. So what are you guys looking for next year?
Yeah, I think on both genders, we want to contend to win NCAA championships here. We're going to lose a good amount on the women's side, but we also have a lot of our girls coming back. And Alex Ross will be back at least for the fall for cross country. Might get a couple of the other girls back, whether they get into grad school here or other places. So hopeful for that. But we have a real young team that will constantly develop. And even this past year, when it was a fresh new 7, everybody's waiting for their turn and to fill that in. Certainly have a real good recruiting class coming in already on both the men's and women's side. It's probably the deepest men's class we've ever had. So it takes a little while for some of the guys running 5K in high school to really be able to break through to All-American levels at 8K in college. But I think a lot of the guys in that recruiting class are there, and we've got some strong leadership and a lot of our returners on this men's team as well that I think is also going to be right up there with the women contending to win an NCAA championship. So just exciting. It's been fun, and looking forward to seeing what we can do.